Hi, welcome to Bear Talk. I'm Bear. This question comes out to every professional during his or her career journey at some point. At some point, he or she will ask himself, what's next? Am I going to become a tech lead, the tech guy, or am I going to become a manager, a people lead? So this is a question many people have, as myself. I came to New Zealand a few years ago, and before I came to this new country, I had some manager experience when I was in China. But when I moved to New Zealand, the priority is to find a design job and then become a senior designer. So from junior, intermediate to senior, this is the first step. But then it will become a question like, do you want to manage people, or do you want to get the job done all by yourself? And I do have some fear as a manager, because I think one of my fear is that I might not have enough time to do design, which I love a lot. And also, it seems like it's all about supporting people and all about having meetings, having conversations with different people. So I wrote down a few questions, and then when this become your question, sometimes the answer will pop out. Then I find a webinar online, and I would like to share my notes to you guys. So this is a webinar organized by David Huang, who is a design manager at Webflow. So he shares some of his opinions around becoming a designer, becoming a design manager. So some questions are really resonate, because I have exactly the same question. Like, am I going to just supporting people without doing any design? So this is one of my questions. And how to become a designer and how to become a design manager. And is that mean I can grow up? I have to become a design manager, or I can always become as the best designer in the team. So how's the career path goes? So I'm not going to share all the details from his topic, but this is I think three things. The first thing is how you want to become a great manager is you have to become three different types of the person. So you have to become a strategist, you have to become an operator and make a workflow more effective, and you have to become a coach to help people to grow. This is really good. And also some management skills and design skills, so that's relevant to a design manager. And because of this, I started to do some exploration, and which lead me to this book, The Making of a Manager by Julie Zhuo. So this book explains the path of growing to become a manager, and it's not a born skill. So it's something that you can learn. It's a skill you can learn. So it's good to know that. And also I find some tips from this book is really good. So just little bit brief about the book. So who is the author? Julie Zhuo was the ex VP of Facebook design. So the design VP of Facebook, which is like really a big role. Okay. And also she started as a design manager at 20s. So at a startup company at that time, Facebook. So she's learning a lot during this journey, and also she's sharing her growing journey on her blogs, with her blogs. So I think that's really good tip for us If you want to learn something, just record the journey. But I really like a lot of the tips and suggestions from this book, and it seems like everyone recommend this book. So I wrote some notes on this book. What I really want to share is the first is how we define a manager. So this is a critical point of the definition of the manager. So if you know who is a manager, then you can see, oh, is it fit my personality or my career ambition? So how it fit. So from her definition, a manager should provide safe environment, give feedback as frequently as possible, and make the message clear and no misunderstanding. Okay, this is one note, but this is not this is more like a requirement for a manager. So here is I think it's the let me circle this out. So a manager's job is to get a couple of people together to create better outcomes than doing things individually. So I think this is the key definition of a manager. And if you want to do that, if you feel the outcome of a team that feels much better than you complete something individually by yourself, that's probably the sign you fit a manager's role. And also, he says these key things also is really interesting. So I just circle it out. Managers care about three things: purpose, people, and process. So it's about why, who, and how. So if you know the purpose of something like business goal or career goal or anything, so that you have better understanding of why you are doing it. So this is about why. And people, it's crucial. So you have to gather around some people and also train them, enable them to do things. So this is about manager's role is about people, and process is about the flow and how you get things work and how you delegate the job to people and make it clear to everyone. So I think that's really interesting. And the other major question that I have for myself is, do I fit a manager's role? Because from what I see, my managers during my career path, they have different leadership or like they are awesome in different places. But one thing I find in common is they are always trapped in the meetings. So I just feel, oh, am I comfortable to do that? So this is also another question from Julie's book. Like, are you able to spend 70% of your work time on meetings? So this is probably a challenge for everyone who want to be a manager. So you probably don't have enough time to do design, but the outcome is that you can help a lot of people to get the design in a much better version. I think that feels good. And also, like, are you this is another big tip I feel really good, that are you able to face some challenging discussions? And I realized that it's actually something you have to deal with during the later part of your career path. I mean, when you are junior, like no matter junior developer or designer or marketer, you always have someone to lead you, to guide you, to support you. When you become a senior person, you might need to guide things, or you might need to drive. You might need to opposite on other people's opinions, and that means tough conversations. So I feel it's become more and more common. It's become a common challenge for senior people and for managers. By no doubt, definitely there are a lot of tough conversations. Are you able to handle that, or are you able to face it? And for me, I feel it's not feels good at that time, but after that, you know that's better for you. So I think it's a great question to ask ourselves. If you want to get some tough conversations to help you to grow, a manager's role probably a good selection, a good option for you. And the other thing that I've learned very specifically around a design manager's job is to have, I think it's about 4 things she said in this book. So the first is about to have a really good one-on-ones with your reports. So like if you have 3 designer reports to you, so you should have one-on-one with them regularly and as honest as possible to help them grow and to erase any blockers during the work and to help them grow to get the job done. And the other thing is about to give and receive feedback about the design, about career. So there are 2 things of feedback. Task-specific feedback, this is easy to understand. It's about how the job get done. And the other thing is about behavior feedback. It's about how to get people to grow or some way people dealing with things. You might have some opinions or suggestion for them. And yeah, the other 2 things is to recruit talent. And this is also really critical. So it's a really good measurement for design, for managers, that if you can hire some talent people join the team, which means you are a good manager. But also on the other way, if you find someone is not fit, are you able to let him go or to start a tough conversation like this probably not fit you? And that's really hard, but I think that's another challenge a manager should deal with. Design critics, this is really interesting. It's more about design process. So I think Julie gave a really good example of how they run design critics in Facebook. A design critic is a ceremony or is a regular meeting that people like designer share what they've done in the last few weeks about about the design and about the process, and other designers give a peer review for those design and give some suggestions as honest as possible. So this is really helpful and also good to help other people to see what's the process, what's the progress of the job. Right. I think that's pretty much that's a lot of things I've learned from this book, but I think time is not enough for share all the things. Just a few things that I feel really inspired by this book. The first is about writing, and that's super important because for designers, I think most of the time we're using visual way to share our thoughts, to share our understanding or our progress. But writing is critical for helping people to understand what you've done, and it's a major way to deliver the message. And speaking of writing, it's including all the writing format like email, text message, and blog and presentation, right? So I think it's super important. And it's really, really good to see that Julie has a 2nd generation immigrant, and she got such a huge success in this part. And writing take a really big part for helping her on this journey. So that's also an inspiration for me as an immigrant myself. And the other thing is consistency. So I don't need to mention how much important it is, consistent. But if I want to mention one thing that I've learned is to embrace tough conversations and use it as a metric to measure your achievement or your growth. Like how many tough conversations you have during the last week. That's a good measurement. And if you want to grow in your career path, that's a critical metric and I do use it from now to measure my growth. Right, so this is the book, The Making of a Manager by Julie Zhuo, and some thoughts from myself about become a design manager. And it's on my career path, but it's not happening now, like maybe a few years later, or like a while later I can do that. So yeah, if you have any comments or thoughts around this topic, please leave your comment below, and stay tuned, stay subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.